on that hard court when it's skipping at you. That's why I said everyone says all this stuff about hitting a baseball. I'm like, this guy's hitting it 35 miles an hour faster than a baseball, and you have to return it back. Like, baseball, you could just put the bat on it and hit it down the third baseline, and this guy falls, and you make it to first base. You have to put it in a fucking square, and you can't even see it coming at you. Like, that to me is the hardest thing to do in sports. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Wednesday, July 9th, 2025, years after zero. And welcome to a new program, Match Point Weekly, presented by the press conference still. All right.
We're in July, Billy. Who is July named after?
Julius Caesar.
Yeah.
What a guess.
What about August?
Caesar Augustus.
Octavian
Augustus.
Yeah. Octavian Augustus. I know, if I would have given it to you that way.
Never would have got it, I was going to say.
Oh, sorry.
Never would have guessed it.
August is 31 months because Augustus wanted his month to be the same length as Julius Caesar.
I didn't know that one.
And they took him a day from February because of that. There you go.
So they did steal from February.
They did. Because Julius apparently got his, that was 31, and this guy said, well, I want the same as him.
And then Sept is 7, Oct is 8,
so,
Dec is 10, so those December should be the 10th month, so on and so forth. They added those months for those guys.
But I asked
That's a whole nother topic.
Doesn't that throw off then, I don't know if you guys believe it, if you believe in zodiac signs, doesn't that throw off the whole shit then?
Yeah.
You know what? You make a great fucking
point. It's a great point, isn't it?
Wow. How does they go into that? I guarantee if you said that to one of those fucking hippies, they wouldn't even know that was the case.
Well, also then,
hey,
too,
Dec means 10.
When we did the, did we switch from Julian to Gregorian calendar?
I think
whichever we did, we jumped like 50 days also. So not only we added 2 months, we added 50 days as well. So
today is supposed to be the shortest day of the year because of some of the it's rotating.
I think that's June 21st or something.
No, I saw it was today.
He also saw that strawberry moon thing, so he might know.
I did. I see a lot of weird stuff. But anyway, this show is supposed to be talking about tennis.
Right. Well, that affects something in tennis, I'm sure.
Yeah. We are in the semifinals of Wimbledon here. The fortnight of the grass. It's almost over already. And to be honest, I think we got two bangers of...
Oh, we got two. This is probably, for me, as...
on both sides.
The best you could ask for in a semifinal.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, Shelton today got spanked by Sinner.
I mean, I'll say Dimitrov should be here. He should have beat Sinner. He had to pull out. Yeah, Shelton did get spanked by Sinner. The first set was close, and then 6-4, 6-4. Like, it's not a spanking, but that's as close as you can basically make it in a 3-set loss.
Yeah.
But it's a 3-set loss.
Right.
I thought Shelton, because Sinner was holding, he had injury problems against Dimitrov.
Yeah, he fell.
And I thought that would carry into this. It did not at all. No. Sinner's used to dominating these things, and he was getting dominated, and then he ended up getting to advance because he had to retire, and then he dominates again. So Djokovic and Sinner is going to be fucking interesting on Friday.
Yeah, Sinner, Djokovic is going to be really interesting. I don't really know if Fritz can beat Alcaraz, but in tennis, you never, like, it's a one-on-one sport, you never know.
They keep saying it about Alcaraz, and it is true. Like, he is beatable. He's more beatable than Sinner. It's crazy to think. But when it comes to them two playing, he's going to win.
Always beats him.
I just saw something at Wimbledon. Djokovic, even in his last, I'll say 40 matches, is 37-3, and all three of those losses are to Alcaraz.
Yeah, Alcaraz, I think I saw, everyone can't beat Alcaraz, but, Djokovic can't beat Sinner. Sinner can't beat Alcaraz. But with this, Djokovic is very good on. This is his best chance to win and break the record for singles titles.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I almost think I'm trying to think if he'd be better off playing Alcaraz first.
Sinner's tough.
Sinner's that 140-mile-an-hour serve is fucking tough to return.
Yeah, you'd rather see probably Sinner after a long, long tournament.
Right.
The earlier in the tournament, the better Sinner is.
Because
I think it's going to be Sinner Alcaraz in the final again, and Sinner's going to have to, a little injury here, a little there. Djokovic probably takes him to 4 or 5 sets. Assuming Sinner's going to win. Then he's going to have to see a 5-set match with Alcaraz again,
I think this kid Kaboli that lost to Djokovic today is going to be a problem, too. He looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
He was good.
Djokovic struggled a little bit in the quarterfinal and the round of 16.
He's also getting old, I think
that's definitely why
he says he wants to play a couple more years, but I think that...
He said, it was nice for him to say, I wish I had Federer's skills right here, you know what I mean? Because
that
I have to run. He's relied on his athleticism more. He can get back and forth on that court, and he can find that ball anywhere, whereas... that, like you said, that one-handed backhand that's pretty much left the game and all these things that Federer has is just incredible.
Federer just looks so clean.
It's beautiful.
And he was hitting balls down the line that like you just couldn't return. A lot of guys
He's hitting balls like 130 miles per hour.
The one thing I'll say though about the game today compared to when like we watched with our granny is like McEnroe was talking about it. All these little drop shots and like the skill, it's just every sport. The average player today just has more in their bag than the older player.
Oh, you
But
saw
Federer was so strong.
You saw the highest level of skill during that French Open final with Alcaraz and Sinner. That is as skillful as tennis can get.
Yeah, right.
Well, you see just the highlights I've seen like before, like a little in between. Putting the racket between your legs used to be like a top play, and now guys are just doing it as like
someone does it like once a match.
Just let me put it behind my legs and just do a little trick right here.
One guy, I can't remember who it was. It might have been Shelton or somebody, did it like, there was a great rally, and he knew the guy couldn't get to it, and he just popped like a drop shot.
Oh, Shelton's crafty. I thought he was going to win.
Yeah, these guys see it, they're like, oh, I need to work on that because that could happen to me.
The hardest serve.
They work on it.
Yeah.
The hardest serve in Wimbledon history was hit this tournament, 153 miles per hour.
That's why
6H French dude, I forget his name, he's like 20 years old, and the server was returned and he lost the point.
Yeah.
That's how talented this.
That's trying to hit that.
The kid this morning hit one to Djokovic, and he just like threw the racket like this, and it actually went over, and then the dude nailed one, and Djokovic hit a drop shot, and the kid just couldn't get to it, and it's like, I mean, at that point, that's the best serve he had the whole day. Djokovic just happened to get to it.
And I'll say, you said like the talent today in this, and you know, we said Djokovic is like the most athletic of them. He's obviously immensely talented, but like Federer's probably got more talent. Nadal he's just the king of clay, and he has a little bit of a mixture, probably better athleticism than Federer, but less talent, but maybe a little more talent than Djokovic, but less athleticism.
Right.
And kind of this, I think Alcaraz is actually the complete package. Sinner is too. Alcaraz is more of a complete package, where he has so many unforced errors, though, especially early on in the match. So when you see him win in 3 sets, it's scary because it's like, uh-oh. He usually finds it, and I think that 5-set first round for him was big because he was like, I need to wake up now. Mm-hmm. I can't wake up in the final. I can't wake up in the semifinal in the 4th set. I need to wake up now.
What is it that, like Nadal, he's the king of clay. What is the difference between him playing on clay and grass?
It's the surface. So, and
on
clay, it's softer. So his speed, he can get to balls. It's just more comfortable for them to play out there. Like Alcaraz is like the next king of clay. Because it's just the different surfaces. Like, he moves better on clay because of his speed. The other guys can't move as fast. So they're like stuck. It's like mud, literally, especially like if you watch Wimbledon, the first match, the court is beautiful. It's all great. It's grass. The end of it, where they're all standing, it's like dirt. So like you'll see in the final, like I was thinking this morning, they should have a court that's set for the final that gives you perfect conditions, because it's like, it is kind of unfair where it's like, dude, this side of the court is fucked. But it's like hard court. It's like you're playing almost on a basketball court. That's obviously
the ball doesn't slow down in the grass.
So think about it, Billy, this way: like Andy Roddick, who's serving the ball as fast as possible on a hard court, it's going to just skip, and on the grass, it's not going to. On clay, it kind of like sticks in the clay, so it's easier. Their serves are easier to return in the clay. Like
same with the grass.
It's just all about the texture of what you're playing on. I mean, you see guys in the clay sliding all over the place, and Nadal was just good in that type of atmosphere. But yeah, we have Sinner Djokovic on Friday. I think that might be the early one. Like,
it is great. I mean, Djokovic's 38 now, and he's still playing.
He's in the final or semis of every tournament.
Yep. And he's usually losing to Sinner or Alcaraz.
And to be honest, he probably would have broken the record already, but in Australia during COVID, remember, they literally deported him when he got there because of the vaccine.
Yep.
And then there was a U.S. Open where he hit a ball at a line judge and got disqualified, and I can't remember who won that tournament, but he would have won that turn. Like, so it's like, I didn't want him to break the record because I'm such a Nadal and Federer fan, but like, tennis is one of those games where it's like it's like golf. It's like, it's not my fault. The guy's just fucking fantastic. But yeah, who do you have for Sinner Djokovic?
I got Sinner.
It's hard to go against him. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna take Djokovic.
Yeah, I think he wants it really badly. Then, like you said, if there's a tournament if there's a chance of him winning it and breaking that record, it's this tournament.
It is,
and he's playing very well. But I just think it's hard to beat. That doesn't mean you can beat Sinner, you know?
Right. No, I agree.
It's just hard when it's a young man's game. Tennis always has been, and you're 38 years old.
But what do you think the odds? Alcaraz is minus 500 against Fritz.
Fritz is a great player.
I think that's a little high. But I know Alcaraz is the best player in the
world.
world.
What's he to win in like 4 or 5 sets?
Who's that?
Alcaraz.
Alcaraz. Ooh. Alcaraz to win in 4 sets is plus 240.
5.
Plus 500.
I like both of those. I don't think he wins that in 3. Fritz is a good player.
I think Fritz could take a set from him.
Yeah, for sure.
Is there a guy right now that's like, how he wins every tournament, or is it a little bit more?
Alcaraz, not
He's
every
starting to
tournament,
become that guy, maybe.
And
we'll find out.
I've heard his name for a
21.
while.
20, yeah.
He's only 20 years old.
Yeah, I've like
21.
heard Alcaraz for a couple years now, but it doesn't seem like he wins, but it's never like, oh, he's
Here's
won.
the thing. If you go look at the Grand Slam winners, okay, it'll show you, if you look at it from, so we'll say 2000, okay, you'll see Wimbledon, you'll see Federer's name over and over and over again. Then you'll see the French Open, you'll see Nadal's name over and over and over again. And Australian Open and U.S. Open, you'll see Djokovic and Federer. You'll see them sprinkled in here and there and here and there and here and there. And then literally for probably 80, and then Andy Murray will as well, for 80 tournaments in a row probably. You'll see those 4 names, and then maybe 3 other names won 3 of those majors. You know what I mean? You're going to start seeing that now with Sinner, Alcaraz, Sinner, Alcaraz, Sinner, Alcaraz, Sinner,
Those are going to be the
Alcaraz.
2 guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Sinner is like 6 fucking...
And then every now and then it'll be like Medvedev won one.
Yeah. But a lot of things, too, that happens, obviously, in tennis, if, like, it's in football. If one guy gets injured, it's like, okay, we get to win this game. In tennis, if you get hurt, I mean, you're fucked.
Yeah, it's over.
So Carlos Bill has been to 5 Grand Slam finals. He's 5-0. He's never lost a Grand Slam final. He won 2022 U.S. Open, 2023 Wimbledon, 2024 French Open, 2024 Wimbledon, and 2025 French Open. So he's seeking his 3rd consecutive Wimbledon title. He's just, bro, it's just, we watch, obviously, like, especially later in the tournament, like, you think you've got him somewhere, and he hits a shot that just wraps around your ear that you can't get to.
Tiafoe just isn't that guy.
Oh, dude, these 2 guys, Sinner and Sinner, he's like 6'8". His serve is like 140 miles an hour. It's hard to return his serve. Alcaraz, it's like he returns Sinner's serve, and then they're in it, and then he hits a shot, and it's like, how the fuck did he get there?
And here's the thing, too, like Tiafoe, because I just watched Tiafoe a couple years ago, more than a couple years ago when he beat Nadal.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
yeah, we watched
shit.
that together.
Yeah, and then you look and you see Tiafoe's 27, and you have a guy like Sinner and Alcaraz who are 23 and 22. It's like, they're only going to get better, man.
No,
and you're only going to get older.
They only are. Alcaraz, I don't even think is at his best yet, which is fucking frightening.
Alcaraz did that Netflix thing against Nadal too, right?
I think so, yeah.
I'll read you the winners from the French Open of 2005 and on, okay? French Open of 2005 and on. This is all the Grand Slam winners.
Nadal is 14, right?
And Nadal, Federer, this is not just French Open, this is all Grand Slam winners from 2005 and on. It goes Nadal, Federer, Nadal, Federer, Nadal, Federer, Djokovic, Nadal, Federer, Del Potro, Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, Nadal, Federer, Murray, Djokovic, Nadal, Murray, Nadal, Wawrinka, Nadal, Djokovic, Cilic, Djokovic, Wawrinka, Djokovic, Murray, Wawrinka, Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, Nadal, COVID, Djokovic, Medvedev, Nadal, Djokovic, Alcaraz wins his first one here in 2022. Djokovic wins the next 2, then Alcaraz, then Djokovic. And since then, 2024 starts, Sinner, Alcaraz, Sinner, Alcaraz.
Like,
this is them. They're becoming the Nadal Federer to Nadal Djokovic.
Yeah,
because Federer seemed like he was older than Nadal Djokovic.
Nadal and Federer were closer.
Djokovic
is like, they retired 2 years ago, and Federer was even before that, and Djokovic is in the semifinals.
Yeah, because you could hear the names here. Nadal was still kind of there while Djokovic was coming up, and it's like, okay, Federer's losing older.
But that's.
But now we have Sinner and Alcaraz, like you said, at 22 and 23 years old.
Oh, we've got probably 5 to 10 years.
The last 12 majors have been won by either Djokovic, Alcaraz, or Sinner, barring one by Medvedev.
Is your guy just done?
Which guy? Nick Kyrgios?
Yeah.
Dude, I mean...
He got all the talent in the world.
He does. Because his serve is fucking
watching that, was it Point Break?
Mm-hmm.
Show, it's like, you could just tell... Like, when he played doubles, he had a guy there to calm him down and not...
Oh, he loses his fucking...
But when he's on his own out there, which you are on your own out there, you can tell he loses it mentally.
And this is to speak on the surface thing. French Open and Wimbledon, the ball it comes off a little slower, this and that.
It's more finesse game.
U.S. Open and Australian Open, it's that hard court and all this. The last 2 Australian Opens have been won by Sinner. And the last U.S. Open was won by Sinner.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the last 2 French Opens have won by Alcaraz. And then
Wimbledon's.
The last 2 Wimbledons have won by Alcaraz. So he likes that slower pace, whereas Sinner likes that hard court.
Like you see, like Federer has more than those the other big 2 in Wimbledon and U.S. Open. Slower surface. he's more skilled than them. So slower game, skill beats it out. Not to say that they're not skilled.
No, but
then you have the French Open, Australian Open. Nadal has the most ever, and then Djokovic
Australia
has the
and
most.
US are the fast ones.
And
Wimbledon and French.
And then Djokovic has the most Australian faster game. So better athletes with the skill win because of the faster.
Yeah, and like I said, Sinner when he's serving on that hard court when it's skipping at you. That's why I said everyone says all this stuff about hitting a baseball. I'm like, this guy's hitting it 35 miles an hour faster than a baseball, and you have to return it back. Like baseball, you could just put the bat on it and hit it down the third baseline, and this guy falls, and you make it to first base. You have to put it in a fucking square, and you can't even see it coming at you. Like that to me is the hardest thing to do in sports. Let's go to the ladies' side here real quick for the semifinals. Sabalenka got through yesterday, and so did Anisimova. And then the other side, Bencic plays Iga Swiatek.
Iga.
It's kind of possibly going to be becoming the GOAT of women's tennis.
We're going to see.
For the trajectory that she's on. I hate to say it, and I hate to be this guy, but I feel like it's just going to be Sabalenka and Swiatek.
Iga.
But I still think, because Iga has something going on, I feel like when she gets to play the better players, it seems like she kind of lately has had her feathers ruffled a little more.
She's another one. She's won the French Open, 4 times. She's won the U.S. Open, and she's been to the semifinals. That's the best performance yet from her in Wimbledon, the semifinal this year.
Yeah, she's minus 300, and Sabalenka's minus 263. I think a parlay on both of them, minus 120. Maybe if you throw, maybe a parlay all 4 of the favorites, Alcaraz and Sinner. I think all 4 of them at plus 221. I kind of like. Just because I could see Alcaraz winning in 3 sets more than I could see that guy, that Fritz beating him.
Right.
Coco Gauff is only 21.
Yeah.
Wow.
She had a really good last tournament too.
She lost round 1 this year though.
Dude, the amount of upsets. Remember the
Alcaraz
first day I
almost
texted you, Alcaraz fucked around day 1. Wimbledon is kind of just a weird tournament.
Medvedev lost early, so did Zverev.
Yeah, they all were out. Like
So
before
did
the first weekend was over.
There's a few names I'm forgetting, but they were all out before the round of 6. There wasn't like the round of 16 quarterfinal where you're losing to Djokovic or Sinner. They were losing early.
I think there was 4 of the top 8 players in men's and women's were out before the first week was over.
Insane.
All right, let's make our picks. Bill, are you picking people for this year?
Yeah, I'll pick. I'll watch it.
Danny, Sabalenka or Anisimova? Who you got meeting in the final? Sabalenka, Anisimova, Bencic, and Swiatek.
Oh, I got Iga.
Beating Bencic.
Yeah.
And then do you have Sabalenka beating Anisimova?
Yeah.
I do too. I have both of those.
I got Iga winning it all.
And I've got Iga beating Sabalenka in the final.
Yeah.
Bill?
I would love the same. It's unfortunate to just sit there and say the same thing, but I think we're going to say the same thing on the men's side as well.
I'm going to go Sabalenka, and then I'm going to go Iga as well, but I'm going to have Sabalenka winning it.
Yeah, that could very well happen too. Men's side, like I said, so the women's Friday, which is tonight. Thursday, which is technically tonight, in the early morning tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And then Friday morning will be the men's. Sinner, Djokovic.
Yeah, Sinner.
Sinner, Bill?
Yeah, I'm going to go Sinner.
I'm going to take Djokovic. I think this is his best surface. I think you know what I think here. I'm going to see what the over is. This is going to be a 5-set match.
Yeah, this could be. I don't think this would be that easy for Sinner, and I think it's going to cost him in the final against Alcaraz.
And then Fritz, Alcaraz. I'm going to take Carlo.
Yeah.
Alcaraz.
And I'm going to take Carlos to win again.
Me too.
3 straight Wimbledons.
Yeah, I'm going to go Alcaraz on that.
So we all have. Well, you have Sabalenka winning women's.
Yep.
We both have Iga, and then we all 3 have Carlos.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, you know what? I hope one person watches a show and starts watching tennis, because I really don't think people appreciate it, and I don't understand why.
I got Tori on a little bit of tennis.
Those people are fucking fantastic.
She's like, holy shit. And she's like, wait, are they playing on grass right now? I was like, dude, this is fucking...
Because we got kind of forced into it with Granny.
Right.
When you actually are watching it, it's like, this is a beautiful
incredible
game to watch.
I saw a thing, it said, life expectancy. What sport do you play that increases your life expectancy the most?
Yeah,
I think
100%.
Swimming was third, soccer was second, tennis was first, and tennis was first by like a mile.
You'd have to think of like football, basketball, all that's got to be fighting. It's
actually probably the opposite.
Yeah,
right.
You're beating your body up so
I'm
much.
just saying, but like tennis, it's like you're basically working out and like lifting, like you're swinging your arm fucking 500 times in a day.
Right. You're
running around back and forth. You're in the sun. You're on a nice surface, so you're not playing.
There's zero contact. It's a zero contact sport.
The most you could do, like Djokovic this morning went to slide for a ball and kind of got stuck, and like his leg, then he like did the splits, but that's not the same as fucking Brian Urlacher picking you up and driving his head through your chest.
And you could play intense tennis from childhood all the way through your 50s, 60s, you know what I mean?
Yeah, barring any like ligament injuries, you'll be fine.
Because you could see, I mean,
golf clearly isn't, because John Daly, I mean, maybe it is keeping his life expectancy going.
Bodies don't like if you look at Carlos Alcaraz's like arms, you're like, this guy's a fucking freak.
Right.
Remember that thing?
He's hitting the ball 140 miles per hour.
Yeah, his right arm is like
twice the size of his left.
His left arm's like this.
Yeah, compared to his left arm.
Yeah, and then maybe we'll do a recap show of how the final goes for both men's and women's, the semis and the finals, and then we'll come back. Let's do a pre-tournament for the U.S. Open and just see kind of what we like. But yeah, Nick Kyrgios, if you hear this, please, man, come back, because he had an injury, so he had to get through all that.
I remember that.
Now it's going to be his conditioning.
Right. That's the whole thing is. I feel like tennis is a window sport if you're not one of these guys like Carlos. Carlos could miss a year and come back and probably be fine.
We haven't seen enough like personality in tennis from the U.S. perspective. Mm-hmm. You know, we need to see a guy that like really has a lot of personality and draws people to the sport. And if Kyrgios is winning, I honestly think it's good for the sport.
I think it'll help.
And Shelton would be another good one too.
Mm-hmm. You got anything else, Bill, before we get out of here? Maybe next time we get a little tennis trivia in. But yeah, I would be super happy if Djokovic broke the record. Winning, especially at Wimbledon, because I know this is his favorite place.
What record would he break?
The all-time. He's tied right now with a female, Margaret Court. I think is her name. They both have 24 Grand Slam titles.
He has the most men's right now.
Mm-hmm. But if he
looking for overall between men and women.
Yeah, he would have. He needs one more. So I wouldn't mind seeing him get it. When I was younger, I was like, "Fuck him! I never want him to beat Nadal or Federer." But like I said, they all. They're
all great, man.
They're all
better off.
Good people, you know.
And so many people say Djokovic is the GOAT, no debate. People, Federer's the GOAT, no debate. Nadal's the GOAT. It's like, dude, it's kind of hard to say one's better than the other.
Three-headed monster of GOATs right there.
And it's also like, well, you're going to say Djokovic is the GOAT, tell him to meet Nadal on clay.
Right.
It's like, all right, you're going to say Nadal's the GOAT, let's play on hard court. Right. You're going to say Federer's the GOAT, it's like, oh, well.
Meet Federer in Wimbledon, see who the GOAT is. Meet Nadal in French Open, see who the GOAT is. You know what I mean? So it just goes on and forth. And then who knows what's going to happen with Alcaraz? Is he going to win is he going to win 25? Who knows? Is Sinner going to win 20? Like,
I just feel bad for Sinner. I think he's 0-5 against Alcaraz in
these major tournaments and stuff.
Something like that.
All I know is in 2 or 3 years when he finally doesn't win it, he's going to fucking be breaking down.
He's got to beat Alcaraz in one of these, but we'll see if that's this tournament.
It's just hard to beat that guy, man.
Tune in next week to see the results and what goes down.